Welcome back to NewsLife. The Philippines and the United States start negotiations this week on expanding U.S. military access to bases in the country. The details of this report from Waywaya Macalma.
Secretaries Voltaire Gasmin of Defense and Albert Del Rosario of Foreign Affairs announced that formal talks between the Philippines and the United States on a framework agreement for increased rotational presence of the U.S. military forces in the country will start this coming Wednesday. The Philippine panel will include the Department of National Defense, Foreign Affairs, and Justice. Washington will be represented by the U.S. Pacific Command or U.S. PACOM. According to Defense Secretary Gasmin, the framework agreement will strengthen the cooperation of both countries in bilateral exercises and prepositioning of equipment for the disaster response and development.
We value and high-impact exercises as a modality to increase rotational presence. Considering that exercises are regularly held between our forces. These exercises will help develop the capability of both armed forces. Meanwhile, we also discussed the possibility of exploring other modalities of increased rotational presence.
According to Foreign Affairs Secretary Del Rosario, the country needs to strengthen both diplomacy and defense in order to protect our sovereign rights as well as the Filipino people.
For Philippine diplomacy, this raises our very deep and historic strategic relations with our key partner to even greater heights. By highlighting our treaty commitments under the treaty and the visiting forces agreement, we serve to keep our region stable and secure.
The Philippine panel will be headed by Assistant Secretary Carlos Soreta of the Office of American Affairs for the Department of Foreign Affairs, Undersecretary Pio Lorenzo Batino for Legal and Legislative Affairs and Strategic Concerns for the Department of National Defense, Assistant Raymond Jose Aquilo for the DND, and Undersecretary Francisco Baran for the Department of Justice. The U.S. panel will be headed by a top U.S. diplomat, Ambassador Eric John. Assistant Secretary Carlos Soreta clarified there will be a minimum of 4 meetings which will be held in the Department of National Defense. Soreta also stressed that the framework agreement will remain in the scope of the Constitution and the U.S. military force will not remain in our country.
Among the parameters, as mentioned by Secretary Gasmin, is adherence to the Constitution, laws, and jurisprudence of the Philippines, the preservation of Philippine sovereignty, the non-permanence of U.S. troops, the non-activity of use of facilities, and the mutuality of benefits.
Soreta, however, said they will inform the members of the media every after meeting for transparency, wherein it is also one of the directives of President Aquino. For the People's Television, Waywaya Macalma.